Pascal Ackermann, thank you for joining us. I want you just to reflect back on your 2020 season that included wins from the UAE Tour to the Vuelta a España. What has this season meant for you?
Actually a really good season, but also had some really difficult and hard parts in it. And I think the hardest part was definitely the mentally part, because it was really hard to restart the training and to restart racing. Then I have all the bad feelings with this crash in the Tour de Pologne, and yeah, I just can say in the end I was happy about the season, that it was finished, and with a lot of victories and good places, and I just can be happy with the season, I think.
Yeah, when I said UAE to the Vuelta a España, we glossed over a lot, and which was, of course, coronavirus, lockdown, and your crash in the Tour of Poland. How did you manage all that?
We sit together after the break, after UAE Tour, or after Paris-Nice. It was the break and the cut, and then we sat together with my coach Dan Laurent, and we made a plan, and we said, okay, let's try to also do a better level for the next years, and we do a lot of training for the next weeks, and then if we get the message the racing will start, then we continue with some efforts and some intervals. And I think he managed it really well, because the Vuelta was my main part of the season, and I think my shape in the Vuelta was not so bad.
Are you pleased or happy overall with 2020 season?
For sure, I was expecting some more victories, or I was unhappy with some second places because they were really close. But yeah, in the end, there were still 8 victories on my side, and I think I'm really happy with it.
Now let's talk about why you are dressed. Why you don't normally dress in your cycling gear every morning when you wake up. Where are you, and why are you dressed like this, Pascal?
I moved some weeks ago, and my problem is that I still have no Wi-Fi in my apartment. So I had to go to Michael Schwarzmann's place. He has Wi-Fi, and all the time if I have some interviews or something to do, then I come down with my bag and my computer and steal some Wi-Fi, and then I go back later.
Well, we appreciate it, and we appreciate you going to these lengths to make the interview possible. What are your tasks this winter heading into 2021? Do you have any downtime? Because you were just racing last month in November, it's now December. So how do you manage a short off season heading into 2021, and what's your training right now?
I took a real time off from 4 to 5 weeks, because I really needed it for my legs and also for my head. And yeah, then I restarted with a team meeting, and there we got the message that we continue the season like it was expected. And then I said, okay, then I have 1.5 months to go to the first races. And yeah, now I started with training with some long rides, and I think the next week we start with some intervals to get a bit more ready for the trainings camp in January. And then end of January, I already start my season again.
Okay, so where is the Bora training camp in January? I understand you guys are at Lago di Garda next month or later on this month, but you have a training camp in January. Where's that, and then where are you starting your season?
Yeah, we do the first time trainings camp in Italy, in Lago di Garda in January, from 6th to 17th of January. And then I go home for 4 or 5 days. Then I head to Mallorca for some more training days, and then I start my season with the Mallorca Challenge this year.
Okay, and then give us an idea of what your schedule should be for 2021.
Just have my plan till May, I think, and then we will see how the shape is and what we do. And I start in Mallorca Challenge. Afterwards I head straight to Vuelta Valencia, then Almeria, like the last 3 years.
Yeah.
And afterwards we go to, now I need the short time.
UAE. Just make it up, Pascal.
UAE, Paris-Nice, and then Milan-San Remo. Then I go to Belgium for some smaller races, and then I take a little break to Frankfurt-Eschborn, and then we will see what we do afterwards.
Do you want to have a shot to go back to the Tour de France and then try to win your first stage in that Grand Tour? You have one in the Vuelta, you have them in the Giro d'Italia.
Yeah, for sure. My big goal is to Tour de France next year, and I think I'm ready for it. I did a lot of training the last year. I did a good performance, and yeah, now I just wait for for my first Tour de France, and I'm really sure that it will be this year. Or I just can hope it. You never know.
How difficult is it? Is it like the situation with Sam Bennett, where he had to go to Deceuninck to get a shot? Because you guys have strong climbers and you have Peter Sagan in the team as well.
I think it's not the same situation like with Sam, because when Sam was here, we had still 2 high-speed sprinter and Peter, and now we have Peter and me, and I think we also can split our races really good, because you all the time need 2 sprinters. And if you see the profiles of the tour, for sure you can split the sprints. You have to say, okay, you can do this, and this one, and I do this, and this one. And this year in the Tour de France, there will be many chances, but in the end, it's up to the team what they decide, and then we will see what they do.
Tell us, we talked about Deceuninck, Sam Bennett. What do you make of Mark Cavendish going back to Deceuninck?
It's a really, really interesting, because I think Kev had after his sickness some years ago, he never came really back. But I think Deceuninck is really well in building up some riders, and I'm really looking forward what is possible with Kev again.
Do you think that could cause some friction in the team with Bennett already there? And do you think Mark can act as a lead-out man and help guide those other riders?
I think Sam will be the main rider in the team, and also the sprinter for the Tour de France and these things. And I think Kev will be more the second guy who will leading up some younger guys, or also take some opportunities for him.
As a star sprinter, is it hard to make that transition between the guy who wins to the guy who is doing some of the lead-out work?
It's a big difference, because you completely have to change your mind in the head. And yeah, but I think an expired rider like Kev, for example, he really can do the split in his head and say, okay, now I do the same work, because in the end it's just the finish is 200 meters earlier than before. And if you know this, and if you know how to race, I think it's not a big deal to do it. And if you have so many victories and so many like race situations in your heads, you all the time can manage this.